Hello, everyone, and this kind of video I'm making into a kind of campaign diary series, and this is just for me personally to take some notes, just to kind of review back on what I've done for D&D campaigns, and this is going to be for a 5th edition campaign that I'm doing, and it's one that I run Mondays for like 2 hours at a time, so it's not that long of a game, but I think we're maybe 5 sessions in, and 5 or 6 I think, but yeah, we're just kind of starting out this campaign. It's a lot of my close friends, we got together to kind of start this campaign, and I've been DMing for 3 years, and I think this time, since I'm taking it slow with this campaign, I want to kind of take notes, so to speak, or even just kind of show my decisions and why I did things a certain way. And I'm not really going to talk about that campaign because, you know, it's not that interesting. I mean, every DM finds his own campaign interesting, but you know, I'm not a huge fan of like talking to people about it, just because I feel like there's like a there's like a thing with DMs where they just want to talk about that campaign, but secretly inside, you know, they love it, but you know, some people might not love it as much. But this is going to be like a kind of beginning video where I just kind of talk about what my plans are. So it's going to be for this campaign. It's going to take place in the Feywild, so you know, typical kind of trickery and whatnot. So yeah, the campaign diaries, I'm hoping will kind of explain my decisions. I can remember pretty much most of the sessions that we've done since then, since it's kind of a slow campaign, as I mentioned. It's only 2 hours at a time, so because we're pretty busy as a group. And honestly, I really enjoy the 2-hour campaign, like the length of time, because that just saves a lot of time, and I don't have to prep as much with just a 2-hour campaign. I mean, I do prep still, but you know, not as much as I would for like a regular like 4 to 6 or something like that. But some things that are gonna kind of go over with this campaign are just it explains the decisions on what I do with certain, like what I do, what reasons I do stuff, and why not, you know. I am gonna just have some gameplay in the back. I'm probably playing it while I'm doing it, or I just have a pre-recorded gameplay, but either way, I can multitask, since you know, it's an MMO. MMOs are pretty easy to not concentrate on, to be dead brain. So yeah, it's gonna explain the decisions that I do with, you know, certain encounters, with map building, with the way, you know, some of my cities are ran, and with kind of pivotal things that happen in the campaign, and maybe things that I might change because the way a player runs his character, because I think it's cool. You know, cooler rule of cool, but only to a certain extent. How I run certain encounters, or I guess how I run like different encounters. I'm a very like combat heavy DM, and I think this time around I wanted to be less combat heavy and more of a more of just a what do you call it, just kind of a, I don't want every encounter to be combat, you know, and I think this is kind of like the first time I'm doing it like properly. I've gained a lot of experience from just playing in my first campaign games, and you know, things like that. I'm currently running a game on Mondays and Fridays and Sundays, but Sundays are going to end soon. So, but as I mentioned, this is just going to be kind of like an intro video. I'm going to have to record again, or I guess like we could go into session 0, but that's kind of like a little bit of the intro. But so I guess we'll kind of start with session like 0, 0. So I had 2 session 0s, and it's because like a lot of my friends don't have a lot of time to kind of do stuff off Discord, you know, offline, or you know what I mean. So we decided the time, and I'm really thankful that time. This game actually might be a bit loud. cool. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so, my friends actually, we decided on a time, and I'm super happy that it worked out this way, but we all decided Mondays around 9 p.m. Eastern, because that worked for all of us, because one of us got off of work around 7 Central, I think, which would have been 8 my time. So they wouldn't have been able to make it around like 8. So we just pushed it to 9, and it happened to just work for everyone. And I'm really happy it did, because any other time would have been really rough for me during the week and even the weekend. So, yeah, we did 8 o'clock, or 9 p.m. And at some points you get tired, you know. I get tired during the day after work, and I come home and at first you don't look forward to it, but then you do it, and then you're having fun. So that's kind of the thing that I've noticed. But we got together and we all decided to kind of roll characters together, like character sheets. We didn't really do backstories yet. I think we saved the backstories for the next session 0. And yeah, so we all rolled characters, what kind of character we wanted to be. I limited the books to just the player's handbook, Xanathar's, and DMG, obviously. So just the player's handbook and Xanathar's, I guess, for them. And for the races, at first, I just kept it static until one of my players kind of told me that he wasn't really enjoying playing his character. So the characters that we had are a tiefling rogue, one who was like a general in hell, and then he was like a general in hell, and he ran ran away. But shit, I wonder if I should just save that for like the next one. But either way, yeah, we had a tiefling rogue. We had a gnome druid. We had at first it was a drow sorcerer, and in my setting, I was just like, it's fine if they're a drow, because like they're still gonna carry that sunlight sensitivity, but they're not gonna be inherently evil, obviously. I'm not gonna make a race be inherently evil, but that's just because how I want to run it. If you want to do it, that's fine. I essentially kind of ignore a lot of the lore stuff that's with D&D and stuff, because I've never really been into like the Forgotten Realms, so to speak. So, because it's always changing, it's always kind of, doing stuff like that, and it just doesn't matter to me at that point. You can be whatever race. There are a few races that I'm hesitant on, but that's, that's only because like they look evil, and they probably are evil. There's reasons to always have them be a good guy. You can always make something and create something out of thin air, and it'll work. Just why is a goblin good? Because he just didn't want to be bad anymore. Someone gave him a shiny, and he just wanted to befriend that person, and etc. But essentially, yeah. So gnome druid, tiefling rogue, drow sorcerer, and then we had a dragonborn paladin, and then a dwarf monk, which the dwarf monk we ended up doing a strength base because he wanted to just be strong. He wanted to be a monk who was strong, so we just did a strength-based monk. We just replaced everything in the book with strength, and it's fine. I think they're very interchangeable. I did warn him about losing all the ability checks with dex that come with it, including initiative, and he was fine with it. He just wanted to be strong, so I let him be strong. Any dex weapons he has we just switch to strength, because why not? It's fine. I think they're pretty interchangeable when it comes to just abilities. That's just my thinking. I don't really care for a lot of things, just because I mess around with like a lot of my monsters and stuff, and I give them like BS abilities is what my players would call it. But because of that, I let my players essentially do what, kind of customize their characters to what they want them to be, like ability wise. And so there is that. So we have the 5, we had the 5. So we just sat around, we rolled dice for session 0, 0, and I think we were like, I just told them to, like, the next time, I think I wish I could skip these cutscenes. But anyways, so I had them think about what they wanted the background to be and to really consider what their background is, and also consider, you know, what race they were and their backstories for next time. But yeah, essentially rolling for all 5 characters took the entire 2 hours because a lot of them needed help. All of them were first-time players except for one who was a DM. But I think he was like a forever DM who wanted to play, and one of my buddies decided to ask him, and he was cool. And he's a very nice guy, super kind guy. So I'm really happy with who he chose. But the rest of them, we decided to make it not like a very serious game. So, you know, you don't have to, you know, I gave him the whole spiel of like, you don't have to roleplay if you don't want to. You don't have to do the voices, which some of them, I think half of them opted not to. And then the other half were like, yeah, we'll do voices. And it's fine. It's worked out so far. I mean, we don't really... Oh my god, I just died. Insane. Yeah, so we... Half and half, so they were fine. I did stress some things, like I do like a lot of homebrew stuff when it comes to certain spells. Like the Revivify spell, I kind of do homebrew because I feel like it's pretty strong for just like a 3rd level spell. So I did kind of do that. The homebrew is just at the start, like whenever someone's revivified, they have to re-roll all their death saves at once. So, you know, if they die, they got to re-roll their death saves. But people can help to like increase like the percentage of like the percentage of or I guess not percentage. It's always like advantage, disadvantage. So like to help them gain an advantage depending on what they do on the quote-unquote ritual. They can do anything. They can literally just choose to like say something. They can choose to give them a gift. They can choose to like gold, I guess, if that's the way their character would think. You know, it's entirely up to them. But they can essentially help give advantage to the death saving throws. So there's that, and then there's a couple other things with other spells, but I told them like spells are probably one of the things I'm like, I'll probably have to explain it once we deal with it, so that way we can just set it and forget it. But it's kind of hard to explain. Most of the spells that you want to make sure are, you know, are or are not allowed. So there's that. I did explain like the world essentially that they would be playing in, which I'm excited. They were excited for the Feywild world. I kind of tried to explain some of it since a lot of them or all of them, I should say, are not familiar with it except for, you know, the Forever DM. So I tried my best, and I made sure, you know, I'm pretty much open to discussion with any kind of ruling. I'm not like a very hard no DM, except when it comes to certain things, then I'll say like, no, absolutely not. But mostly for like rulings and stuff, if we decide like something just sucks and somebody wants to do something else with the ruling, then, you know, that's fine. I don't mind if someone makes an argument, or I shouldn't say argument. I don't mind if like if someone wants to discuss like how they would have ruled it instead. And if they make a good point, I'll change it. Cause you know, every players that I played with don't really care about retconning, or if they do, like I just said it and forget it. No one really just discusses it, but I do make that out in the open. Like, hey, I'm willing to kind of discuss with the group if they don't like a certain ruling or whatnot. So there is that. I'm trying to think about anything else that might be kind of what you would say in the beginning. Obviously, what I wouldn't put up with, what I would. Obviously, you know, don't be an asshole. Just be nice. You know, be a good teammate. If someone wants to do something against the team, like everyone's aware of it, essentially. And so far, that hasn't really come up. Out of all the times I've played. Yeah, it's been pretty, you know, pretty good so far. Not really anything to stress about. They seem pretty like a chill group, especially, you know, because they're my good friends. We all know each other on the Destiny 2 Discord, Yes, we did play Destiny 2. I stopped. Don't worry. I haven't played it still. I hate that game, but I will keep looking up information about it because it's just there. But yeah, so essentially just gave the rules while they were making their characters, and I would stress, like, I would say more stuff, you know, kind of next time, or the next session 0, which is where we would kind of go over their backstory. So I stressed, like, hey, you should think about what your backstory is and just kind of go from there. It could be anything, literally anything, and I'll just kind of help guide you in the way of, like, the way I would kind of, it would work in the world that I kind of set for them. Since they're all new, I kind of, like, it was a chance for me to have, to build my own kind of homebrew world. This will be, like, my first, like, homebrew setting. And even though it's, like, the Feyworld's been established and stuff, it's the first time I'm making my own map. The first time I'm making, I've made a couple creatures, and I've really wanted to work on, like, the ecology of, you know, creatures and how they work together, and essentially kind of like, you know, real life, you know, diseases and whatnot, or you know, any creature that would be an invasive species, which I did have a couple that came to mind, and I think they really liked it when we did a few one-shots with it. So I explained essentially everything like that, rules, what not to do, how certain things would work. I just told him straight up, you know, we'll figure out combat when we get to it. I essentially, just for simplicity's sake, I broke it down to, like, you have non-combat situations and combat situations. That's the easiest I could do. And then there's a third one in the middle that's skill challenges. I think that's a very middling of the road, because that could take, depending on what it is, it could be seconds or whatever, or like, it could be seconds, it could be any number of those. Let's stay away from him. But yeah, I think that's important stuff. I think I explained more in the second session 0, but that's essentially kind of it for session 00. So, and or 0.0, I should say. And so I'm trying to think of whatever else. Yeah, so prepare their backstories and things like that, and you know, I was pretty excited for it. All of them had not had any. Some of them had some experience, but it was just kind of out of the blue that we wanted to do, like, a clan. God, I should stop saying that. A Destiny 2 clan kind of D&D game. That was not Destiny 2, because I'm sick of Destiny 2. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm gonna probably do another one during another campaign diary for this week, kind of summing up the session 0.1 and possibly going into session 1. I don't want to keep these too long, because, you know, short and sweet, I think, is the key here, to kind of explaining. I might go over certain specific things, like, separately, but we'll see. So, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed listening and getting just a feel. And if this interests you, then, you know, spread the word. But mostly just kind of a summary, explaining why I did certain things, and kind of going over the importances of stuff, which I guess I could explain, like, the entirety of what of session 0, but session 0 is mostly for the players. It's mostly just to get a feel for what they like, what they don't like. We kind of went over that with death, you know, sensitive topics such as, you know, abusive parents, etc., things like that, and you know, things that I wouldn't accept. But essentially, and everyone's is going to be different. Some people don't care about it. Some people have trauma, and so they won't, you know, they will not play if that's involved. So, but, you know, everyone has their own kind of turning point. So, or melting point, point in general. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and well, hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. So, thank you.